Excuse me, suddenly Vanquish Soul is the best deck again? Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on us content. So quick little breakdown here, and I'll go through the deck lists that are public. No, we don't have the Vanquish Soul list for Top Cut. Sorry. I'll try to cover that when it does come down. But we had two Vanquish Soul decks doing extremely well for this event, which was actually surprising to me. I did not expect that. We also had two Malice challengers overturning so much of what we'd expected, but I guess people are starting to go back to playing Lancia now, so maybe we'll see more of that being checked. We also had Yummy Mitsu. Of course, the standard combination monsters. And we also had Dracotail taking a major back seat this time. It appears that Dracotail did not have a fun time this event, actually getting very much pushed into a corner and kind of getting bullied out of the format, which was something that I did not expect to see. But, you know, here we are seeing, you know, changes to the structure of the meta and actually doing some very interesting things. Let's pass on over to deck list. So, starting things off, we have the top 8 Dracotail list, and you know, this is honestly kind of very heavy on the Argolas and the two Pans. But I mean, Pan and Argola are fantastic cards for what these cards typically push to do for this deck. So I'm not all that surprised to see, you know, like extensions for these. Also, the double Ghost Bell. Ghost Bell looked like a fantastic card this event. Like, if there was a card that felt like it really was pushing to entertain and change the meta, I feel like it was Ghost Spell this weekend. Like, that card just put in so much work. It was really, really scary, honestly. We are also side decking the Pot of Prosperity. I love the fact that, you know, this card just gets tossed around. It's like, hey, maybe I need another card. Maybe I need something different. But it really just depends on, you know, what you're going with. You know, getting the cheese out, Sanctifier's broken. One Secretarion Dragon now. Times have changed for this. Next up here, we have Branded Lunalight. Now, whoever came up with this concept, I'm going to tell you straight to your face, you're a genius. This is, I think, one of the scariest decks that I have seen running around in the room. And nobody, and I truly mean nobody, is going to just not be surprised to see this monster. Like, this deck is holy shit crazy to me. I'm gonna clap for it, man. I think if there was a deck in the room that you should have been, you know, just kind of off the walls about, you know, being afraid of losing to this, now you can lose even harder to the extra dumb stuff that comes off of the Branded Dragon. And it's actually pretty good. Also, interestingly enough, it makes any level 8 or lower fusion monster by banishing materials. So if you were really wanting to, you can technically make this. Not saying it's a good idea, but you can do it. Next up here, we have more Dracotail. I see that we're pretty similar in the other versions that we've seen here, you know. Just playing the one copy of the Fallen and the Virtuous, I guess, is fine. I do feel like, though, that you want this card in, like, some numbers, but, like, you're playing one Fallen of Abaz, double Branded Fusion. We do have a copy of Ghost Spell within the deck, which I think is still fine. We're also choosing to play the Magna Hut Free Dragon, lol. Maximizing on the good stuff here, all three of the traps. I do think it is safe to say that most of the builds now are going to be pushing for a heavy amount of the traps just to be able to get things done with this. We're also side decking the Blazing Cartesia. We also have good old Daddy Fenrir in here, whose job is just to clean things up. We're also playing the double Secretarion in here for Dracotail. Okay. Next up here, we have Yummy Mitsu. You're going to be seeing a lot of this. And I hate to tell you this, but as much as we want to be like, oh my god, you know, Yummy Mitsu's such an exciting concept, it really isn't anymore. Most of these builds have actually bridged into the Futsu now. People started to realize, oh crap, getting Futsu up on the field just means that I can start getting the free bodies back onto the field. And at that point, you know, Futsu not being a once per turn means, you know, you can get the Murakumo back online, and now your opponent's going to have to deal with, you know, a potential board wipe at any time that they start to overextend. So Futsu, I think, is more of a problem card than people really just realize, because having that board nuke in your pocket causes so many problems. Like, it's kind of nuts just to think about. Anytime you want to clear a field when they do something, sure, man. More yummy Mitsurugi. I'm telling you, this is going to look the same. Now, your key differences here, and this is what we've been seeing in a lot of the progression of the meta, you're going to have people going, well, why do I want to play the Futsu? You know, Futsu means I have to play other bad names. Why can't I just play the Sanji to get the Murakuma up and running? Now, let me tell you this, duelist. Between having the ability to do that, you know, there is some discussion on, you know, what's right and what's wrong. And I do think that's kind of a dog shit opinion. Honestly, Futsu has performed way better recently than 99% of the rest of these decks. So I think it is a little bit outlandish to be like, you know, I don't think it's that good. Duelist, trust me, it is pretty strong for what you have to be working with for this. So many broken cards in this deck. Oh, hey, look, more Draco Tail. Now this list chose to play some canine cards. All right, we're in action. This was the list I kind of wanted to play around with. I love Izuna, and I love Jokul. All right, but the things you got to be worried about are, you know, this hard locking the living piss out of you, and you're not necessarily going to be getting, you know, this setup. But this just means that you're going to have to kind of go into your turn here with the option of making the Lupus on the opponent's turn to actually make the Ripper. You're using it defensively, basically. It's not a bad thing, all right? It's not, but it's just like, you know, in a world where, like, if I do open up the Branded Fusion and, you know, Izuna, and they do happen to ash the Branded Fusion, well, you know, it really sucks. That's that. Still going with all the traps. Maximizing Dragon's Mind and side deck. Okay. Hey, Malice. We've got triple Izuna and the Lupus in here. The fact that this build actually got away with playing canine cards is kind of interesting to me. I hadn't really thought about Malice wanting to choose this, but I guess this is just more means of, oh, hey, you know, you hand trap me, now I can slap back, and I can make more of a huge board against you. Like, you're gonna have to find ways to answer the problems that it feels like this deck is kind of slapping back at you. And if you're not getting that opportunity to do so, that's where Malice kind of falls apart. Also, these are going to be free bodies on the field. Like, I don't know if you truly appreciate that, but, you know, maybe there's going to be a way it's like, hey, you know, my opponent hand trap me, now I can get 2 canine monsters on the field. Now we can go ahead and make links way easier. Oh, God, it's pure yummy. Who's the mastermind that said that this was going to be the play? I mean, it's good for kind of taking a step back here and showing that, you know, this deck still can do good. Playing 1 Hornet Drones, double engage, just fine. Double Yummy Surprise to blow me out. Going with triple Fua, triple Meows, 2 Pearly. Pearly definitely feels like the weakest of the Mulch armies. They're not bad right now. It's just times have changed a little bit. You know, we're not going too crazy. So we're playing Apophis and the Serpent here. I mean, being able to get this off of the Rabbit, be able to deploy this, and then toggle into the Swamp Deity for that string of negates usually feels pretty good. That's why you choose to play those cards. It's just you want to string along, get the negates set up, start to, you know, control the game in your favor. It's a very, very simple approach, and I do feel like this deck does tend to have great access to those tools. Next up is Gem Knights. Holy crap. Well, first of all, congrats to just playing the OTK Turbo. Like, you did pretty solid. And remember, this deck wants to go second. So you're going to load this deck down with some of the most ignorant garbage that you can find in your dumpster, and it's going to work out. One of those ignorant cards is going to be Ye Olde Forbidden Chalice. You know, at least if you target something that's got a devastating effect, then you can at least force it out of the way. It's the one thing I always like about Chalice. It's like, oh, hey, you know, you got a problem card on the field. Well, let's go ahead and chalice that thing. So either you just let it resolve or we force out into the next problem, and then we kind of have to go from there. Like, that's your trade-off when you're looking at those problem cards. But I do think that you've got most of your problems pretty settled for you, and I think that works out pretty nicely for all intents and purposes here. But that's everything I got for this YCS. So please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.